I came into office, I said we would systematically work to fix these problems, and we have been working really hard to address them.
Wait a minute. That's not what Jay Carney said.
When was the president first made aware of these problems, these fraudulent lists that were being kept to hide the wait times?
Well, you mean the specific allegations that I think were reported first by your network out of Phoenix? I believe we learned about them through the reports.
All right, we're getting different vibes here out of the White House on this whole Veterans Administration escalating scandal. It started with benefits not getting paid to veterans, and if they were paid very late. Now it's escalated to patient care where at least a couple of dozen might have died as a result of that incompetence. To political crisis manager Kurt Bardella. Now, Kurt, we do know for now the president is keeping his VA secretary, so that doesn't change. A study ensues. I've seen this playbook before.
Yeah, well, Neil, I think the reality is the president expressing that he was unhappy and outraged about the situation, that's fine, that's legitimate. Anybody who's probably heard about this feels that same outrage. But what people are looking for, what veterans are looking for, what policymakers are looking for is a plan forward of reform, of holding people accountable, of a real process that's transparent, that is inclusive, that brings together the veterans groups to get their input about what's going on. The reason why this is such a potent issue is because these are real people. These are someone's grandfather or father or brother or son, are heroes who have put their lives on the line. They deserve the best care possible.
Well, that's what makes no, you raise a good, but that's what makes a difference here, and that's what's igniting this bipartisan rage, because these are our heroes, and a lot of them are getting old, and they need our help. And I think on the right or the left, you want to do the right thing, and right, apparently the right thing isn't happening here. But my issue, I guess, was something you raised a little earlier, Kurt, was this professed rage on the part of the president. I just think when you say you're mad or you're really furious, you can't just say you're really mad or really furious. You've really got to, I don't know, act it out, don't you?
Well, Neil, if I were advising the president, what I would tell him is it's fine to express your outrage, but you have to follow that up with a specific plan of action. The reality is the VA system across the board is broken, and there needs to be a real honest and public review of what's broken, when is it going to be fixed, and frankly, keeping the person in office, a secretary who's been there while this has been happening, is a disaster. This person has lost all credibility with veterans. Why is the president not firing him and starting over?
All right, he says he's just going to see the investigation where it goes. This rings a bell to Mattie Duppler and Scott Martin and Lenora Hawkins, who are back. Lenora, end with you, begin with you. This is the way it rolls out. I'm annoyed, I'm outraged, I'm going to get an investigation going. I never see the finished investigation, though.
No, we never do about any of these scandals. I mean, he knew nothing about how the Obamacare website wasn't ready. He knew nothing about what was going on the IRS. I mean, at this point, I actually kind of feel for the guy. I think he might be just tired of trying to defend all of the various scandals that are hitting his administration.
He should be good at defending it, though, right?
What do you mean, Scott?
He should be good at defending it, Neil, because he's deflecting one of these things every quarter, and that's the problem, though. Don't you think that after all these scandals, to your point about being really angry about something, don't you think the guy would finally say, okay, I figured out how to stop all this. I'm going to put somebody's butt on the line, and they're going to be in big trouble, because that's the whole thing. These scandals keep happening because there's nothing...
You know, I don't think that's his style, and I know they call him no drama Obama, Mattie, and all that, but sometimes you need some drama, and when a situation like this, you need some drama.
Well, listen, this is why nothing's going to happen on the VA scandal, because it's emblematic of what the president stands for. Looking at the VA, it is this huge bureaucracy. When we're looking at the spending that was happening in Arizona, it was all an administrative cost. The head of the department there was getting bonuses. What this is a look at what big government looks like and what that does, and it obscures where money's going, and it also has no interest in improving services. It has interest in keeping people on the government payroll.
So, Kurt, where do you see this going? Is it not going far, or what do you predict?
This is going one of two ways. This is either going to be, realistically, Barack Obama's Hurricane Katrina moment, where the Bush administration lost the American people and everybody, was when they showed the ineptness of government not being able to provide its most basic essential services. If the president doesn't get serious about being transparent and about putting forward a plan that involves Capitol Hill, that involves lawmakers, that involves a real path for reform and gutting the VA and starting over, this will be Barack Obama's Hurricane Katrina.
Guys, I want to thank you very much. Just a reminder, you folks back home, I don't care what your political views are. These aren't Republican soldiers and veterans. These aren't Democratic soldiers and veterans. These are the guys who in a foxhole you really didn't care the political affiliation. They're old, they're hurting, they need us. We owe them. More after this.